Really not. It is as easy as can be. It's just making sure that you have an auto attack after every ability. So I'm going to walk up to the Shibalanke. I'm going to wait for him to dash before I use my 2. He dashes, so I'm going to blink at him. 2, auto. Oh, I got silenced by Ganesh. 2, auto, 3, auto, and then I'm going to 1, auto, and then I'm going to 1 again. So in between every single ability right there, I'm making sure to land auto attacks. Hello everybody, and welcome to your Nemesis jungle guide, guys. So we're going to be starting off here. You've got the option of Eye of the Jungle and Boombas. Honestly, both are going to be quite good with Nemesis. I'm going to go Boombas. I think the Eye of the Jungle is a better actual starter for her, but I think that Boomba's hammer is such a good item right now that it's almost impossible to get away with not building it, just from like a pure stat standpoint. At the end of the game, if you do make it that far, which you would expect to, it's just nothing right now beats the bang for its buck, especially combining it with something like a Hydra's Lament, and you just get so much damage. So we're gonna be starting off with the tier 1 Boombas and a tier 1 Mace. I'm gonna be trying to bring that into a Crusher. It also allows us to get early anti-heal in games where we need early anti-heal. This game, we will not be needing that though, so we won't need the Brawlers, so we can take it right into a Crusher. I'm going to be getting my Slice and Dice here at level 1. Slice and Dice doesn't actually quite have as much damage as the Swift Vengeance does, but it has a 3-second less cooldown, which is actually pretty nice for us, so that way we always have it up for our next camp that we're going to do. Sometimes your dash isn't up depending on how fast your clear is. Our clear was a little bit slower this time. But if your clear is particularly fast, that 3 seconds can make a pretty big difference on getting to the next camp and getting it starting up, which is actually more important necessarily than a little bit more damage on the first one. So I don't know what this Raijin has as a second ability, so I'm just going to kind of walk at him right now. I assume he's going to get his dash. He did. But we can force him to use that dash. We grab the lane pressure. I'm going to pop a health potion, head over here to the left-hand side. So at level 3, I might get a second point in my 2, depending. You can also grab that point in your 3. If we don't get the point in our 3 at level 3, then we're going to get it at 4 no matter what. But right now, I'm actually trying to keep my eyes out for the Daji. She went into that right-hand side jungle, and now she's missing, which makes me think that she went back towards her camps. So I'm going to walk back this way and go looking for him. Daji has a hard time escaping. He is going to be back here, so I'm going to go for a little double auto, hit him with a body block, and be able to grab that first blood or first blooded. So I knew he was going back for his back camps because they had just respawned. I knew they were in that right-hand side jungle, and now that's going to give me an opportunity to come over here and gank the Osiris as well. Kuzma walks up, pushes him back into a tower, and I land an auto attack right on into him. So now that we've gotten our abilities going, at level 5, I'm going to grab my ulti, and our level order on Nemesis is 4, 2, 3, 1. So ulti whenever you can, then your Slice and Dice, then Retribution, and then your Vengeance. The increase in your shield, even though your shield has been nerfed on Nemesis, this used to be all the way up to 500. Now it only goes up to 420, blaze it. It is still a ridiculously good ability. Because not only is it minus damage taken, it's also potentially a plus heal. So you want to make sure you're leveling that up before your dash. You're mostly going to be using your dash actually for those auto attack cancels. So Daji's walking up here. I'm going to go ahead and throw down my ultimate, pop my shield just to get those little bonus autos. Osiris is going to be able to save his life, but we force him to use a shell. That's totally fine. Shell got a much longer cooldown than my ultimate does. So on Nemesis, she might be the best / most important god in the game. I'm actually going to grab myself a Ninja Tabi here. Warrior Tabi is also a valid item, slightly depending on the exact build that you're going, but I want to go into the Crusher, so I'm going to have a lot of attack speed between those 2 items. Nemesis is probably the most important god to make sure you are using auto attack cancels. Every single one of her abilities is really good at it. And what that means is you want to be factoring in an auto attack in between your abilities. It sounds like it's something special, like it's hard to do, like, ooh, auto attack canceling. It's literally not. It is as easy as can be. It's just making sure that you have an auto attack after every ability. So I'm going to walk up to the Shibalanke. I'm going to wait for him to dash before I use my 2. He dashes, so I'm going to blink at him. 2, auto. Oh, I got silenced by Ganesh. 2, auto, 3, auto, and then I'm going to 1, auto, and then I'm going to 1 again. So in between every single ability right there, I'm making sure to land auto attacks. That's because you have an auto attack chain here on Nemesis. So if I swing through my entire auto attack chain, you're gonna see that it goes through all of these motions, which have different damage values, which have different attack speed swings. But every time I use an ability, it resets your auto chain back down to the original one. So that way you're always just getting that very first quick attack online. So against oracles, you would see it auto 2, auto 1, auto 1, auto 3, auto. You see, it keeps bringing you right back to that first part of your auto attack chain, which allows you to get in auto attacks way faster, synergized with your abilities. Way, way faster. Now, you're not going to be able to do that all the time. It's not going to be perfect. In a perfect situation, you know, you would love to get that all off, but sometimes you're gonna have, like, you know, sometimes you're gonna get, I got Ganesh silence, right? Like, I went in to go ahead and use my 2 and I got Ganesh silence, so I couldn't use any abilities for 2 seconds. So instead, I was just sitting there auto attacking for 2 seconds, waiting for it to go off, and then I got in my auto attack stuff, you know? On paper, it's always a little bit easier than actually in game when you gotta worry about, you know, dodge, duck, dip, dive, dodge, and dodge. So on Nemesis, our standard combination is going to be starting off a fight with our ultimate. So Ganesh has just dashed. So I'm going to walk over here. I'm going to ulti him. Now I'm going to pop my shield for that little extra bonus canceled auto. I'm going to dash through. Double dash myself away here. Daji is pretty much out of mana, but I'm not going to be able to reach him, so I'm going to slow this Osiris with my 2. I assume he has his ulti up, but he actually can't ulti while he is inside that pluck. I'm going to continue chasing him, trying to see if Kuzma wants to go tank it first. Pop my shield, actually, to have my shield tank a lot of that damage from the tower. And me and the little Kappa are going to be able to finish off that kill, although I do need to be careful with these archer creeps. They're not going to let me go, so I've got to slightly pull them closer to the tower range, and now I can back up. So we start off the fight with our ultimate every time that is up. We get those bonus protections, that bonus movement speed, all the goodies, do some damage right off the bat. Then we try to walk up to them. Auto, 2, auto, 3, auto, 1, auto. You want to try to keep your dashes up for an escape if you can. But obviously, if you need to use them aggressively, then use them aggressively. Also, with Nemesis' shield, it can be one of the better bait abilities in the entire game. So you don't have to use the shield right off the bat. Sometimes you can bait people into staking around into a fight that's actually bad for them by keeping your shield up and then popping it at the very end. So then you've got that couple of seconds where they actually can't damage you. So Nemesis works out really well against pretty much every character in Smite. She doesn't have a ton of weaknesses, which is why she's widely considered to be a top tier jungle. But one of the things you need to watch out the most for is actually a hard CC. So your shield has one counter, and that's basically hard CC that will take you out of it. So somebody like a Ganesh, I need to be careful that I do not get myself like knock up out of my 3. Your shield is what makes you tanky on them, but if you get CC'd, if you get like Apollo Mez out of it, you lose that shield. This whole thing will go away. So a stun is your nightmare. I'm gonna dash just so I'm now actually in front of this Ganesh. Switch onto the Daji and go away. So if I try to 3 before a dodgy pull, and then dodgy pulls me, no more shield. So like if the dodgy is gonna pull me, I actually want to wait until after I get pulled and then pop my shield, because that way when she's using all of her bleeds and stuff on me, I'll have all of that shield value. So you want to make sure that you're popping your shield after all of the CC has been cast, so that way it doesn't get immediately interrupted out, because then you buy yourself this 2.5 seconds of basically they can't attack you, and if they do attack you, they are super screwed. Another thing on Nemesis, while you do not have a leap, you only have the dashes. Nemesis is probably the best character without a leap at chasing characters that do have leaps. So whereas a lot of characters that can't leap over walls struggle in that department, Nemesis does not, because of her ulti giving her that bonus movement speed / slowing down the opponent. That combination makes it actually really easy to catch up, and you can use that Nemesis ulti over walls. You don't even need vision on your target. You can just spam it over the wall. Just go click, 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 click until you find them, which makes it really easy to actually go get them. So the only thing that ends up being annoying for you is actually gods that have slow immunities. A lot of your ganking is based off of slows. Your ultis are slow. Your slice and dice is a slow. So I tend to find that somebody like a Kukulkan or a Mercury is actually more annoying for me to gank than somebody necessarily like a Raijin. The most annoying part of Raijin is not his leap for getting away. The most annoying part of it is that first part of it mezzes, which allows him to actually cancel my shield. So I'm gonna blink right in here on this Shibalanke. We're gonna be able to finish up that kill. Dodgy's trying to run away. I'm gonna bring myself right in on the right. I'm gonna pop my shield, which is gonna keep me alive right there. And now I'm gonna try to dash myself away. Raijin did not use his fear or his taunt on me. If he would have switched over to the fear or the taunt, he would have immediately gotten rid of my shield. But instead he used the damage stance over and over again, which allowed my shield to keep me alive. And then of course I had my dashes up so I can get out of dodge. Cripples can be pretty annoying for Nemesis, but they're not actually as annoying for Nem as they are in some other characters, because she has ways to just kind of stand her ground and fight. If you're getting crippled over and over again by like an RDO, it's actually not the end of the world, because you can just turn around and like start fighting RDO. As long as you've got your ulti up, anybody that's just like trying to be all up in your business, you can usually deal with. In Ares, coming at you with chains, yeah, it's annoying, but it's actually more annoying for Ares that you ulti him right on back. So a lot of those tankier targets that come with the cripples don't end up being that bad, particularly once you have your beads online. So now I've got my beads online on Nem. You can absolutely get beads as your first active because you do not have any built-in CC immunity, especially if you're going against a character like an Ares who's just going to pull you out of position and get you killed. Then you have to get those beads first. Is really the only downside to Nemesis is that she does not have CC immunity built into her kit. But believe me, you don't want her to have CC immunity built into her kit. She's plenty strong enough. So now for our third item, I've grabbed myself a stone cutting sword. So I've got the flat pen from Crusher. I've got the flat pen that I'm going to get from this stone cutting sword. We get that 30 flat pen, which means that I've basically got 45 pen right now against squishies. So I'm basically doing true damage. And then against the tankier targets, I don't actually need the pen because I've got my ulti. So I'm going to ulti right here onto this Raijin. I'm going to double dash at him, use my 2. Now he is going to go ahead and use those fears to get me off of him. Much smarter play that time from the Raijin. I see that the dodge is pretty low, but the creeps are actually going to put me in combat, so I can't blink at him. And I'm just going to have to chillax for a second. Now, this Osiris is not as free as he thinks he is. So I'm actually going to pop my beads right here. Now I'm going to pop my 3, and I should hopefully be able to finish him. No, I'm not going to be able to because they have double shells. A shell from the Ganesh and a shell from the Osiris. Unfortunately, they had both of their shells up after the team fight. That's just bad luck that they managed to kill everybody without having to use any of their actives. Otherwise, that would have been a dead Osiris.
Your middle tower is under attack.
All right, heading back over into the right-hand side jungle. I am level 15, so I got my nice level 3 lead. A lot of that, honestly, coming off of the back of that kind of early cheese gank at their back harpies because I knew the Daji would be over there farming. Unfortunately, we are just sitting here body blocking each other. It's kind of hilarious. So now for my 4th item this game, this is where you really start to get a lot of leeway on Nemesis. She's got a lot of viable items at this point. I am going to go into a Hydra's. I think Hydra's is extremely good on her. And I like the pairing of Hydra's with the Boombas, because not only do you get the Hydra's proc on all of your abilities, you also get the Boombas proc. The Boombas proc, of course, lowering your cooldowns, which allows you to get more Hydra's procs, etc., etc. I heard the Daji over here, so I'm just going to go ahead and ulti the Daji. As soon as that dashes down, I'm going to hit him with the 2. Now I'm going to try to use 1 dash, use a 2nd dash. I'm just trying to get away. I have to use my 3 right here just to try to turn around this fight because I can't actually get away. But I do get the full shield value, which allows me to heal up enough to turn around and actually kill the Daji right there. Another set of items that you can buy on Nemesis is crit. I think crit is undervalued on them. And it depends on exactly the game that you're on. You obviously don't want to go crit against extremely tanky teams. You don't want to go necessarily crit into teams that are going to have a lot of reflect damage, that are building a lot of thorns. But it does do a lot of damage on them because you're going to have some flat pen from your build, right? And your ultimate gives you a bunch of percent pen. That means that even tanky targets, typically what crit is not good against, kind of get wrecked by Nemesis with crit because of her ultimate. So as long as you're using your ulti appropriately on the tankiest target, it makes crit really, really effective on them. Now, it looks like they're going to go over potentially and do the Gold Fury, but there's a bunch of farm over, up, and right, and I don't necessarily think that I'm going to be able to get over to the Gold Fury in time, so I'm going to focus here on my farming first, and if they go for the gold, then so be it. I don't want to fall behind in the farm. So my job as Nemesis is going to be to just go typically for the character that's the most out of position. That doesn't inherently mean go for a squishy. A lot of assassins, your job is just like dive into the hunter or the mage. You know, pick whoever is the bigger problem child and go at them. For a Nemesis, it's actually not quite that way. Because of your ultimate, you are a super good tank killer, which means your job is actually going to be to kill the person the most out of position. Now, if this ends up being a squishy, well then congratulations. But like right now, it is going to be the Daji, so cool beans. I'm just going to go ahead and kill this Daji. But it also very well could have been like the Osiris. So I'm going to have to pop my beads right here because I am getting attacked by the Osiris tether, which was going to go ahead and cancel my shield. I'm looking back at the Ryzen. He is my main target right now. He uses his dash. He might know that I'm still coming for him, actually. So I'm going to go ahead and blink, dash, and then hit him with a 2. Pop my 3 for the shield, so the tower is attacking into the shield. And unfortunately, really good peel, actually, in the backline from the Ganesh. The Osiris is going to go down, but that Ganesh coming all the way back did end up grabbing that kill after I got the Ryzen. So now I can finish up that Hydra's Lament. And now I'm going to go ahead and save my gold. I'm going to grab a Sentry Ward. I'm going to save my cash mostly here, though, so that I can get myself that Boombas Hammer as soon as it comes online. Going to give me that 30% CDR. And then we're going to finish up this build with a Erendite. Erendite going to give us a full 40% CDR. And it's going to make our chase downs even crazier on our Nemesis, because when we ulti, not only do we get the movement speed naturally from our ultimate, we're also going to be getting that movement speed that we actually get from the Erendite while we're chasing it down a target. And if you thought running away from a Nemesis was impossible, then you're really, really going to hate your life when you get the Erendite on the Nem. Now, if you're going against a Nemesis, wink, wink, nudge, nudge, an item that you might want to keep in mind. You're not going to be able to probably buy this on your mages and your hunters, but on the more tanky characters that Nemesis still tends to wreck because of her ultimate. You're going to want to keep Winged Blade in mind, as we talked about earlier. Nemesis's kills are based pretty strictly off of slowing down her target. Wing Blade gives you that slow immunity / bonus movement speed. So I'm gonna go ahead and ulti right here on the Osiris, walk right into him, try to get a little bit out of that tether range. I am gonna be able to get out of it, slow him down once again. It looks like he's probably just gonna have to go ahead and use his ultimate. He is going to do that, and I'm gonna continue this chase over on the right-hand side, trying to use my Hydra's procs as best I can. He actually might go for the immediate back. Looks like he tried to, but he got interrupted by the Kappa. Once again, I've got to try to get outside of this tether range because I really got nothing to deal with the tether outside of that. And then he's going to get the blink off. And so right now we're just kind of doing the solo lane chase. So I'm actually not chasing him anymore. At this point, I'm just going back for his jungle because I wanted to steal farm from his dodgy. At this point, I have wasted too much time. And I'm going to call for the Fire Giant. And my team is winning a fight over in left lane. So I'm going to call for the Fire Giant. I've got a Sentry Ward, and I want to go grab this Pyromancer. Gonna use my dash just to quickly get out of the range of that Pyromancer. Looks like Osiris has come back in for us. He doesn't have his ultimate up, and his team had already died. So he might be in a bit of a risky situation here. There's his ulti back again, and I'm just gonna go ahead and back up. Not gonna continue wasting my time chasing him. So I'm going to get tier 1 going into the Erendite. I'm still mostly concerned about saving up my gold for when I get level 20 and grabbing that Boomba's hammer. But I had over 2,000 gold, and when you have over 2,000 gold, you're typically able to go back and grab like a tier 1 of something because you're going to go back out and farm for 20, which is going to get my gold back up anyway. Probably could have bought myself another Sentry Ward as well, actually. So now I'm going to look at their build. I'm going to see if anybody does have a Wing Blade. They don't seem to have any Wing Blades. They got some vision over by the fire. It looks like they are going for a bit of a Hail Mary Fire Giant play. So my only job right now is to kind of distract them, make them nervous. Ganesh is already down to half HP. Shibalanke is still over here on it. But now they are very afraid. I'm just trying to keep them afraid of doing this. Gonna throw down my ultimate onto the Ganesh. He is probably going to have to run at me. They get separated from each other, so I'm going to walk right out the Shibalanke, pop my beads and my 3 at the same time. Because I've got my 3 up, it means that they can't actually CC me out of my shield, and we get them off with the Fire Giant entirely. So right there, I was never going to win that fight, nor was I going to be able to steal the Fire Giant. So the only thing that I can do is sacrifice my body and provide enough of a target that they have to kill me instead of doing the Fire Giant because the rest of the team was not around. Always better for you to die than the enemy team to get the Fire Giant. Now, if they're going to be able to get the Fire Giant and kill you, then don't give them the kill. There's no reason to walk up and then die, and then now they've got a 5v4 power play, especially if they can like run straight down to a Phoenix. That is not what you want to do. But if you feel like you've got a solid chance of either stealing the Fire Giant or completely interrupting the fire so that they don't get it, that's always going to be worth your body every single time. So at this point, we basically just need to get ourselves grouped up. They actually had to use a lot in order to peel for me. So this next fight should be pretty good for us. Grabbing my speed buff as I head on over. Osiris is not with them. He is split pushing over and right, so they've actually got a 4v4 here in the middle lane. But they do not seem to be winning that fight very hard at all. The team at this point, if they're struggling in these fights, they should be waiting for me. There's no reason that they have to be shoving up into these situations. They pushed all the way up to the tier 2. This is the exact situation that put us in that predicament last time, where we had to go sacrifice our body in order to stop them from doing the Fire Giant. So the team just made the same mistake twice in a row. You want to make sure that you do not do that. If you make a play and it does not work, then don't do that play again. The team is pushing up way too far, and now once again I am put into a situation where I have to go try to contest an objective. Luckily, I am able to come around the back of that and take the Oni Fury.
America to the rescue.
We've got a couple of people a little bit low, but I need to back up and head back over to the Fire Giant, continuing to work on my Erendite. Our biggest issue right now as a team is that we are not waiting for the entire team to be grouped up before we start looking for our fight. They got 3 people over left lane right now and 2 people in middle, and one of them wants to back. Plus we have the vision advantage. So I'm going to throw out a deep ward over here.
They'll never see us.
So now we see the vision. Unfortunately, the Fire Giant is actually on me, which I'm not exactly sure why. Seems that the Fire Giant's a little bit upset still from the previous times that we have been fighting, but I'm going to make sure I am properly utilizing my Boombas and trying to burn this down. Luckily, me tanking it isn't that big of a deal because I have that Boomba's hammer, which is going to give me a lot of sustain, and we're going to take down that Fire Giant pretty swift. Now that we've got the Fire Giant and the Oni creeps pushing, we're going to want to push the lane farthest away from the Fire Giant. And so we're going to want to get grouped up and go shove that left lane. Erendite check, Sentry Ward check. Now to get the whole team grouped up and left before we push up and put our faces near that tier 2 tower.
Enemies in right lane.
My target focus is probably going to be on the Ryzen, but I do have to be careful because Ryzen has a lot of opportunities to interrupt me out of my shield. So he does actually have pretty dang good kill potential on me. Gonna get out another deep sentry ward. They really shouldn't be contesting tier 2 towers, but we've got to be careful because 2 members of our team have back. So we need to be a little bit more relaxing right now because we are not super grouped up as a team once again.
Enemy spotted.
Attack left lane.
That's a really good route out from our Kepri, actually. Gonna scare them a little bit off of this tower. We've got the creeps pushing up left, and at this point, we're gonna do the tier 2 tower sweep. Just running all around the map. From left T2 to mid T2 to right T2, and they really should not be able to contest this anywhere. Go ahead and use my Boomba's Hydra's proc to burn down these towers extra fast.
Your team has destroyed a middle enemy tower.
And this is gonna lower the HP of the Titan quite a bit, so that way if we do actually get ourselves a Phoenix down, we can go right for the Titan. Now that was a really good Kuzenbo push. He actually pushes that Shiba Lanke directly into that door, but we got to be very careful right now. They're keeping that door open for their team, so I'm gonna go for the Osiris because he's kind of out here by himself. Dash myself towards this Ganesh and try to body block him. Not gonna be able to. We got the creeps pushing up through mid, so I'm gonna call for the attack middle lane. I'm gonna try to look for a blink into the back on somebody. Nobody is particularly low right now. Daji is off to the side, so my target's gonna be Daji. I'm gonna blink in on him, go for the 2-3-1 combo. Force him to use his beast and his Aegis. Shiba Lanke has used his dash. That is Shiba Lanke's Aegis. So if we can grab ourselves the Shiba, that would be huge. Doesn't look like we're gonna be able to make it to him. So I'm gonna go tank this tower for my team because I can pop my 3, tank 2 autos, so nobody gets hurt, and then walk ourselves towards this tier 2 tower where I will actually be able to heal up a little bit because of my Boombas. Now this is where we need to be careful. This is where teams tend to get caught out. But if they push up too far, we can actually turn around and win this fight. So Ganesh is not the target we necessarily want to go for, but there's the Shiba Lanke. That was a perfect grab right there, waiting for the rise and the dash so I can walk into him. I'm going to preemptively pop my beads so then I can throw down my 3 and hopefully grab that kill. Daji's ultimate should be coming back up very soon. And we're going to be able to grab at least 2 right there. We've got 3 on 3 right now, so they got to watch out for the Daji ulti. But if they don't all get wrecked by this Daji ult, this could be a really good fight if they can keep the users alive. Unfortunately, the Kepri ult ran out on me right when I died. It was just the tiniest, bittiest away from keeping me alive, but they might just be able to get that right Phoenix off of this play now. If not, it ended up being pretty neutral, and that's okay as well. Got to rank up our beads as well as grab our elixir of speed and wait for a sentry ward. They can go ahead and retreat, and we can get ready for the next fire giant. That's a huge Ganesh pick if they can get it. They're not going to quite be able to get it. Looks like that was probably a Pridvin proc. If they could get that Ganesh pick right there, that's a solid 50-second timer, and then he doesn't make it over to Fire Giant in time. They can't contest. I don't know necessarily if they're going to contest anyway, but without their Ganesh, they certainly would not have been able to contest the next Fire Giant. All right, speed is grabbed. Now we need to get the vision quickly set up around the fire. We would prefer to already have wards around it. Not a lot of people have kind of come directly back this way.
Your left tower is under attack.
In fact, Osiris actually beat us here on the vision. We would prefer to already have all of these deep wards out. Ryzen is off to that right-hand side, but they know that I'm over here, so I need to be a little bit careful.
Enemy spotted.
Ganesh actually just came in for me, but he misses his dash. Now, this could be a really good fight for us if we play this right. So I'm actually going to blink ulti the Ganesh because I know that his dash is down. Osiris uses his dash. I need to dash away from all of those tethers. Just going to sit back here, try to sustain up a little bit with my Boombas, but I had the Osiris ulti on me, so I'm not going to heal up any. There is still pretty good fight potential here. I need to be careful because I do not have my bead, so I'm going to dash away from that dodge ult. I'm going to call for the continued fight on right lane instead of going back for the fire. Dodgy, no ulti, Shibalanke, and Ganesh dead. We should actually be able to grab ourselves this Phoenix before anything else. Now, Osiris just blinks right on into that fight, and he does not have his ultimate up. Ryzen dashes in as well, so I'm going to go right onto him. That is his beads down. I'm trying to save my dashes just in case I need them again. Luckily, this Boombuzz is giving me all of these cooldowns down, and we might actually be able to end the game off of this. Now, Shibalanka is coming up in 5 seconds, so we need to make sure that we're focused on the Titan, and I'm going to get my cooldowns back up. Lickety split, and we're going to be able to put this one away. So right there, we win a cool fight over in right lane. They use too many abilities coming for me. They had too many misses. So we call for the fight. We grab a couple of kills. We've got a 5v3 situation. I was probably going to call for the fire giant right after that, but then the Dodgy used her ulti. The second she used her ulti, I know that we have a nice advantage in that 5v3 now because we had already obviously used our ult, but they still had a couple of them up, which allows us to continue that fight. Push down for the Phoenix. Osiris blinks in at the Phoenix line, allows us to go for him. His ultimate was down, and then finally the Ryzen dash kind of sealed their fate because then we could just go in and kill him, guys. And that is our Nemesis God Guide. Thank you for supporting the Twitchiest community. If you'd like to see more videos, make sure you subscribe to the channel and always hit that bell for notifications so you don't miss any of the upcoming videos. Thank you for all your support and have a Twitchin' day, y'all.